episode of 1923 Main Street.
Home of everything to do with travel in style. We are your hosts.
I am Mike Belobradic.
And I'm Amelia Belobradic. And today, winter versus Christmas style. And knowing the difference before you back.
Yes, you know, the calendar's turned. It's November now.
And that
before
means
we know it.
all of the happiest of us are celebrating Christmas.
But you know, that's what this whole podcast is about. Christmas, yes, or whatever holidays. There is a difference in your style considerations when packing for Christmas versus packing for winter. And we're going to get into what some of those subtle differences are because it has some considerations, especially if you're traveling. A lot of this information is applicable for going out around home too, but...
Absolutely. Anything that you want to use to create a look. But I feel like most of the time when you're traveling, that's when you care most about the looks and realistically the Instagram posts.
All right, let's start with winter style first and talk about what that's all about, and then we'll contrast it with Christmas style, which also happens to take place in winter in most places.
Well, I think a big thing that has to do with winter style is longevity, layers, textures, things that are cute but also practical. Because if you live in a cold part of the world, you have to be kept warm from December through March, honestly, even November, without it necessarily screaming, festive, here's my celebration all the time. You want to think wool coats, like big chunky knits, rich neutral tones like caramel, charcoal, navy, deep green, stuff like that. You know, like brown was a really big color last year, but this sort of like richer, deeper, dark chocolate kind of energy, like we were talking about last week, soaking up that heat. Accessories are also a big part. They do a lot for winter style. A pair of leather gloves, a timeless scarf, even boots. Oh, can't go wrong with a good pair of boots.
You want boots that are cross-functional too, though. I mean, depends on where you're going, but mostly for winter, you want them to be able to, you know, if you're running through an airport or something, right? You want to consider those things.
Yeah, you don't necessarily want like 6-inch stilettos on your boots, or maybe you do. Just something, as long as they'll keep your feet warm, I say it's a good pair of boots. And if you can personally walk in them, then that is a you decision.
So
That's
we're going to make this easy with two buzzwords, two M words, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. And our M word for winter style is modular. That's what it is. Your winter style is modular.
And by that, this mean?
We mean that every layer has a purpose and can adapt to different climates and different portions of your trip or even outings around the house.
Yeah, because the thing is, a lot of the time the winter weather can be unpredictable. Yes, it might be 32 degrees and zero, like freezing cold in the morning, but then maybe it's warmed up and now it's just really chilly, but it's not necessarily freezing. So now you need less of that coat, but you still want to be warm. So you want to have multifunctional pieces. Yeah,
and if you visit the blog post at 1923mainstreet.com for this episode, we're going to give you some outfit ideas for both of these. We're not going to go through every one now, but check them out there. But really, to sum it up, for winter style, your goal is really to look put together, but not overdone, right? Doesn't matter where you're going, just nice winter style. Now, let's talk about how Christmas style differs.
Oh, I love Christmas style.
Let's start with the M word, just to keep the continuity. So for winter style, we said think modular. For Christmas style, think mood.
This is such a nice way to describe it, because I think a lot of the time with...
Well, thank you.
You're so welcome. With even Christmas or any holiday style, really what you're trying to convey is the feeling that the holiday brings you. And I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday. It's my favorite time of the year. I begin celebrating at midnight on November 1st. So when I'm dressing for Christmas, you really want to try and lean into, like, you know, the sparkly and to convey that mood. So this can look like deep tones, like deep burgundies, deep reds, sparkles, metallics, patterns, things that only make sense this 1 or 2 months a year.
Like, it's sort of like more statement pieces.
Yeah. Buffalo plaid is a gray area. I might give this one to winter if you really think about it. But like buffalo plaid, velvet, sequins, gold accents that, you know, come out to play. These are the statement pieces that look great in photos, but not necessarily on travel days.
You know, I like the buffalo plaid idea because there are people who, let's say, are going to be traveling for winter over Christmas. And you don't necessarily want to have that full on sparkle vibe going the whole time, but you might want, you don't want to pack too much either. So buffalo plaid is something you can wear all winter long, but also at Christmas, like you said, and it fits right in. So that's a good one if your travels are right around that holiday period.
And it's also all about balance. Obviously you're not going to go all out, all glitter, bling, and sparkles with every single aspect of your outfit every single day. But having those aspects in there and having those little pops of excitement are quite cute and do contribute to the Christmas experience.
So I would sum it up to say, if you're traveling during the holidays, plan your Christmas outfit as a moment. Sort of think of it as the way you might think of photos. Not a wardrobe theme necessarily, because you got other parts of your vacation, but as a moment, so you can sort of streamline
a great way to say it.
Your winter staples. I know you would appreciate that.
I would appreciate it. I love planning my Christmas outfits. I always have them planned out in advance, specifically the Christmas outfits, just because they pop extra nice. And you can always try and find a good photo spot to match with them.
All right, so let's wrap it up. How would you sum it all up?
Well, I feel like Christmas and winter style can definitely overlap a lot because, Christmas is in winter for the most part. But one really focuses on the endurance of it and the other is about the occasion. So they can both be practical and they can both be festive, just not necessarily at the same time. You want to have, that Christmas sparkle for a day, but still have the winter elegance that carries you through the rest of the season or the rest of the trip and actually practically keeps you warm.
All right, there you go. So if you are planning a vacation this winter, we hope we gave you some tips for winter fashion style. And if that vacation is around the holiday period, no matter which holiday you celebrate, a lot of this applies. So consider the differences between your winter mindset and your holiday mindset. Thanks for listening, everyone. As always, follow along on social media at 1923 Main Street. Visit the shop at 1923mainstreet.com. We will see you again next week. And as always, roam freely and wear boldly.
Bye-bye.